Okay, so tonight we have a Q&A session. Now, sometimes due to unable to sleep during retreat, even when doing walking meditation, try to pay full attention to the leg movement. Somehow this sleepiness may still prompt out very frequently. I just ignore it, continue walking without stop to note it till it disappears. But if purposely checked it, then it becomes very prominent, or sometimes can feel the sleepiness a bit like at the background. What is Bhante's advice? So now here when you are doing in the walking meditation, then as long as when you are doing walking meditation, as long as your mindfulness is continuous, that means that when you're able to pay attention to your lifting, pushing, dropping, or sensation or pressure that is going on at that present moment, then during that time, the sleepiness or drowsiness, it will be pushed to the side. It will push to the side because at this moment of time, the effort to arouse the mindfulness and to sustain the mindfulness and the concentration and the wisdom and the penetration of the mind, they are all in the optimal level. Therefore, when the wholesome mind is there, the unwholesome mind is put aside. The drowsiness, the laziness of the mind is put aside. But they are kind of like building up at the behind. They're building up at the behind because sometimes this type of sleepiness, while we're in the walking, sometimes it may not due to just the mind being lazy. It again, just like number one, it may due to the bodily tiredness. It may due to the bodily tiredness, but because of the mindfulness is there, it cannot comes in. But the moment that you pay attention to it, or the moment that when your mindfulness drops, then this time it will seep in, and then the moment that you have a gap for it to come in, you will have a full-blown drowsiness. Sometimes that drowsiness, even in the walking also, you can have a lot of yawning, and then you can feel that your body is become lethargic, and then the mind also, for some yogis, it's like stand and sleep. Stand and sleep. It can be very tiring. Yeah? So as long as your mind is keeping on noting onto the object, then it's fine. You just keep it at the side. Yeah? So if you want to check it, so make sure that you have a tremendous effort at noting at it. Because if your mind the effort is not strong enough, then that drowsiness will overtake for that period of time. So it will be safer. It will be safer. Just keep noticing at the bodily objects, because this time the bodily objects is helping you to sustain the mindfulness. If you go into other objects, especially like hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, or even to the mental objects, then during this time, the mind cannot able to sustain on those more subtle objects. And then when you try to note on them, then the mindfulness just pour itself into the presentness. So therefore, keep it to the body object, especially when there is whenever there's you feel that there's a lot of sleepiness there. Keep it to the bodily objects, keep it to the sensation, keep it to the movements, and then it will be very helpful for you to keep the sleepiness aside. You cannot force the sleepiness to go away. One of the wrong thing of yogi usually they want to do is that they want to force the sleepiness to clear the sleepiness. You don't have to force it. All you need to do is that make sure that your mindfulness is noticing other wholesome or other bodily objects clearly. By itself, it will be kept aside. And later on, if the mindfulness is become clearer, stronger, the sleepiness usually will disappear. That will be a better choice for us to take note of it. Now, if you find that if you are a more advanced meditator, then when more advanced meditator means that when your mindfulness is strong enough, when your mindfulness is sustainable enough, then during this time you can stop for a while and pay attention to the sleepiness. Then you see how the sleepiness is affecting you, affecting the body. In the sense that when it affects the body, you may find that the body is slightly moving, slightly going forward, slightly softening, and then you may find that your mind can go into a bit of dreamlike state. Then those are characteristics of drowsiness or sloth and torpor, and then you take note of it, and you pay attention to it carefully. I mean, if you pay attention to it carefully, after a while, then also that sleepiness will disappear. So this one is more for those who are more advanced in the meditation. You can able to handle the mental hindrances more carefully, then they can able to see it directly. So if you feel that you are not into that stage, then therefore continue the walking meditation. All right. Then this is the first and the second question.